There you go, Bambino. Come on in.
What do we... Give me this stupid thing, Pat.
Thank you.
Moron. All right. So as we were saying, the full-blooded Italians, we're going to dominate tonight, all right? The Dirty Deeds, they got nothing. We're going to climb up, we're going to grab our flag, and we're going to be waving the Italian flag all over the place. Forget about it.
What's going on, wrestling fans? I'm here to tell you that on March 16th in Brentwood, New York, it's the big event where Papa Dank and Beyond the Barricade will be there. And joining them will not only be PJ Savage, the Cotton Candy Princess Tiffany Avatar, but just recently added is, the voice of WrestlePro, Creator Pro Wrestling, Invictus Pro Wrestling, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, MMA, kickboxing, you name it, the list goes on and on. Yours truly, Ryan Peterson, aka Sexy Ryan. I am looking forward to being a part of that amazing crew and hope to see all of you at the big event live from Brentwood.
Coming, season 2 will be coming.
Awesome, I can't wait, man. I thoroughly enjoyed season 1, so much success to you.
All right, so yeah, let's go get something to drink.
Your eyes are kind of next.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Lucky, bro. I mean, they're really lucky. We had our hands full, and our brother got caught off guard. But it
belong. Those belts were around their waist first.
Well, that's a matter of perspective. I mean, yes.
All right. Now, just announced by Mr. Joel Maximo for February, the one after the January show, but definitely in February. Get your tickets. Former WWE. All right, I am hanging out with the Invitational Champion, the one, the only Pharaoh. All right, guys, thank you very much for being on. I can tell. What are you carrying with you today? All right, vlog interactions in full effect. I'm hanging out with.
You get back here.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up something.
Hey! Hi!
Hi!
How you doing?
How you doing? All right, everybody, welcome to Beyond the Barricade. I'm your host, Papa Dank. I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. Also want to put out an all-points bulletin. My 23-6 YouTube Heavyweight Championship was stolen in New Jersey. If you have seen that belt or the suspect, which we will bring up now, she's considered dangerous. Make sure you take cover and you call me or you DM me so I can come get my championship back, all right? All right. Now, without further ado, let me bring to you my very special guest, the one, the only Jack Parker Jr., a.k.a. JPJ. What is up, my brother?
What's going on, brother? I mean, I don't know if I'm the one and the only. There's probably another JPJ out there.
I can't leave Tina alone. She stole my championship.
Yeah.
Can you believe that shit?
No, man, that's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, let's talk about some upcoming events you got going on.
Oh,
March Madness.
Yes. Man, a bull rope match with Terry Wayne and
match.
Yeah. It's kind of old school. That's that old school match right there. That's the Dusty Rhodes versus Billy Graham type match right there.
That is that type of match, 100%. So what inspired this match?
I don't know. Me and Terry started running this angle about a month ago. I just kind of come back to wrestling from a broken rib and, went back after the heavyweight title at TIWF, and Terry's the one that's got it. The fans voted. The first match we had was an I Quit match. I got screwed out by a ring announcer who apparently had audio clips of somebody saying I quit on his phone, and so got screwed out of that. And then now this weekend at March Madness, which is TIWF, one of their like pay-per-view style shows, it's a bull rope match because every time I try to get a hold of Terry, he's ducked and dodged me, or he's tried to come in on me at the very last second when I'm not, got my back turned and attack me from behind. So, it just makes sense. Tie us to each other and let us beat the crap out of each other and may the best man win.
All right, man. Now, admission is only $6. Like that caught me off the bat. I'm like, wow, what a steal. for a wrestling show.
Let me talk about TIWF for a second. They've been around for 16 years at Trenton, Tennessee. Great man by the name of Randy Bird. He's the owner and operator there. Like I said, he's been around 16 years. For whatever reason, like I've always called it the airport hangar because to me it looks like one of those old airport hangars, the little half dome. And he packs out every week. Years ago, when I was running a tag team called Beer 30, we'd always wanted to go to TIWF and work for them. It just never worked out. Right. We had a good friend, Zach Crow, pass away, who was a wrestler, and we went to the benefit show, and lo and behold, it was like the whole crowd knew who we were. So fast forward a year ago, I get, the booker reaches out to me and brings me in, and and I've been there for at least a year now. And I've helped book shows. I've helped help be a locker room leader, I guess you could say, and just trying to build that company, or not really build it because it's already built, but we're trying to keep it going. It's been around 16 years. Another 16 years, it sounds great too,
and it could grow immensely.
Oh, so absolutely.
100%. Hello, Mr. Herb Simmons. How are you, sir? And he says Randy is a good promoter.
Yes. Oh my God, I got a chance to meet Herb Simmons last year when I went last year, which I know we're probably going to get into it because last weekend I got an opportunity to wrestle at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri at the Army training base. Last year is when I got to meet Herb Simmons. He had come with Brutal Bob Orton, or not Brutal Bob Orton. I'm sorry, Brutal Bob Evans. That's my mentor. But he had come with Mr. Cowboy Bob Orton, and I got a chance to meet him. Very nice guy. Runs a great promotion, SICW. I have, I'm looking at the flyer. WLW, the guy in the top right corner, Superstar Steve. That is WLW's heavyweight champion. There's a couple other buddies from around here. I believe you've had them on, the LA Hustlers. They wrestle at SSCW.
Not yet, soon.
Oh, soon, yeah. Two crazy characters, but yeah, they wrestle for Herb.
Also want to give a shout out and say that the Papa Dank Beyond the Barricade commercial runs with SICW YouTube shows.
There you go.
Make sure you follow SICW, everyone. All right. Good stuff going on here. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about this next event you're going to be at.
Night
of Champions.
Yes. So almost 2 years ago, I started working for WLW, which is it's at the Harley Race Arena in Troy, Missouri, and to me, it is probably.
Oh, look at this! Have him call me, says Herb.
Yeah, there you go. But I've worked a lot of promotions, and especially over the last 3 to 5 years, I've worked a lot of promotions, and I have to say WLW might be one of the best ran promotions in the country, and it doesn't get no bigger than Harley Race. Leland Race, the legacy of Harley Race, he runs WLW, and he runs a tight ship. It's family oriented, but he's constantly bringing in guys like Trevor Murdoch.
EC3, I see there.
Yeah, the list goes on of guys that he's brung in, and it just so happens that the Night of Champions, which is something he's brought back, is NWA versus WLW. And like I said, I've been there 2 years now. I consider myself a WLW guy. I take great pride in working for that company. Every show is normally packed out. It's syndicated on TV, man, and it's just one of the most professional organizations I've ever worked for.
That seems. This one's really going to be good. I could tell just from the graphic alone that these matches are going to be out of control.
Right. Well, see, my boy CT, who I've got to know really well over the past 2 years, he's the one that handles handles the flyers, and I've not been on one yet that isn't just immaculate.
Okay, all right, all right. Herb said Leland Race. Make sure he calls him.
Yes.
Give him the message. All right, let's talk about kind of like a reset of goals for you, I assume, since you came back.
Well, man, to be honest, like my goals are always the same. Last year I had a really good year up until the end of November when I got hurt. I got to wrestle. I get to wrestle a lot of interesting names in pro wrestling. I don't want to say that I wrestled any big names, but I got to work with Bob Orton, which was a great honor because I grew up a Roddy Piper fan. So getting to work with somebody that was the right hand man of Roddy Piper, it was a blessing. I got to go to Pennsylvania and work for I'm AXW. I don't want to say that wrong. I got to work for them in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is at the historical Hamburg Fieldhouse, which is where
I've heard of them.
Yeah, like WWE, or when it was WWF, they ran a lot of their TV production there. It's also the same building that Roddy Piper hit Jimmy Superfly Snuka with the coconut doing the Piper's Pit. So I got to wrestle in there, and it gave me goosebumps. The whole night experience was good.
That would give me goosebumps too, man.
Yeah, and I got to wrestle a man who is in the top 500, PWI heavyweights, and O'Shea Edwards. I know O'Shea works.
I know him.
Yeah, I know he works a lot up there around you. And we went out there and had just a big boy match.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was a hoss fight, and I got to say, I got a lot of experience there. My mentor Bob Evans is the one that hooked me up there, but he was there, and he was being able to see him and be around him, and that whole experience was great because not only did I get to go wrestle in a historic place, one of my goals as a child, I guess you could say, was to run the Rocky Steps at the Philadelphia Art Museum, and I got to do that. So
that's funny because that's a goal of mine too.
Right. I gotta say I grew up a Rocky fan, huge sports guy, but a huge Rocky fan, and just getting to run them.
We got some trivia from Herb. Herb knows all the good stuff, man. It was Jimmy's idea for that coconut shot.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because I've got the Roddy Piper, all the DVD sets, and you hear, and I've listened to the conversation, and that crazy word that gets thrown around, that kayfabe word, it's so crazy because for years I thought, okay, they do the interview, the coconut shot was not supposed to happen, and then I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I was listening to just like a shoot interview where finally Piper admitted that it was Snuka's idea, and it was like, oh man, my mind's blown.
Nice. Any memorabilia do you collect from back then? I wish I did.
I was a big collector about 3 to 5 years ago. Like I was going and I was collecting anything and everything. And it's funny because this last weekend at Fort Leonard Wood, I just sold what I consider my prized possession. And it was, there's a local gas station, where I live, and they had a Macho Man Slim Jim holder, and every day I went into that gas station, and I begged and pleaded with the owner of the gas station, like, let me have that. I'll pay for it. What do you want to pay for it? Well, needless to say, I went in there one day, and she agreed. She said, you can have it. Well, the last day I went in there, the day I got it, there was 3 Slim Jims left. I'm not a big Slim Jim eater, but like I love Macho Man. I love wrestling. I love all this, memorabilia. Well, she's like, well, I have 3 left. I don't want to get rid of it until the 3 are gone. So I bought the 3 Slim Jims and got the Macho Man holder. Then I got to look it online, and I got it. Besides the cost of the Slim Jims, I got it practically for free. But I got to look it online, and them things, like the day I got it, the things were going for like $250, $300 on eBay.
Wow.
And I kind of toyed with the idea of trying to sell it or see if anybody was interested in it, because I know there's several out there. But when you grow up in the South and you grow up in a small town, things like a Macho Man Slim Jim holder kind of mean a little bit, and they don't really you don't come by them unless you order them on eBay. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay $300 unless Macho Man autographed it. But yeah, man.
Just start collecting now.
Right, yeah. But I have a few things that are in my collection that I don't ever plan on getting rid of. I have an old man, and maybe some of your viewers up north won't know who I'm talking about, but down here, he's a legend. I have a couple old wrestling magazines with Superstar Bill Dundee on it. Him and Lawler, Jerry Lawler had massive feud down in Memphis at the Coliseum.
Definitely heard of him. I have.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of people, when they think of Memphis, they think of the Coliseum and they think of Jerry Lawler, but sometimes they don't put the other guys that were. Yeah, see, Herb knows
Memphis.
Yeah,
Herb knows everything.
Right. But yeah, I have a couple of old, like 1970. I think the oldest is 77 magazine. I have the first line of and I can't remember if I say this right every time I do it. The LJN wrestling figures from WWF. I have the Roddy Piper. It looks like it's been chewed up by a dog, but it's probably one of that's my
prized possessions.
That's my favorite, but and then I've got a bunch of autograph stuff from different wrestlers, whether it's Ted DiBiase, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Batista, and Jake the Snake Funko Pop, so that's there were things that they mean a little bit more. See, and here's the funny thing: I was trained by Moondog Spot's son. So, really? Yes, James Lee Booker. There's 2 Booker brothers, Chris Hollywood Booker and James Lee Booker. They were Moondog Spot's, sons, and I was trained by James Lee when I first broke into the business. I actually got to wrestle with Tommy Rich. That was kind of a fun story because we had a hair match, not my hair because obviously I have none except for on my face. But yeah, we had a hair match, and Tommy Rich turned on us and turned heel, and the person tagging with us, they lost their hair. So, I mean,
yikes!
Yeah,
I was just shooting the shit. There's an owner of a company up here called Remarkable Wrestling.
Yeah,
and the owner's name is right there on the left. Kono Capuccia. I always say butcher his last name, but he's a big Macho Man guy.
Oh yeah, really?
So
okay.
He's got like every action figure of him ever made, and this is the kicker. He has a pair of Macho Man trunks from a WrestleMania. I believe he told me it was WrestleMania 3.
Oh,
that are worth like $25,000 right now.
Oh my god. But see, that's things that I wouldn't get rid of, and it's funny.
He's not,
because like I met Ricky Morton earlier this. Well, I've met Ricky before, but like actually got to sit down and pick his brain a little bit. But I was talking to him at WLW, and he put his boots on, and I know a lot of older, the older vets in wrestling. They, you look at their boots and you can just tell they got so many years on them.
Right.
And I said, Mr. Morton, how old are your boots? And He said, "Well, no, these aren't that old. The ones I broke into the business with, I just sold them for $25,000."
Wow.
And I'm like, man, that's so crazy because like, you talk about goals. One of the first goals I had, because I grew up playing sports, and in sports or um, music or anything like that, like your hometown people, they have a billboard or their names on the water tower where it says home of so and so, and that was my first goal. Like when I broke into wrestling, I wanted to get good enough to make it somewhere, but also in the back of my mind, man, I'd love to have that billboard like going into my hometown of Manila, Arkansas, home of Jack Parker Jr., whether it be AEW superstar, NWA superstar, WWE superstar.
Who needs to come to FanFest? All right. Yeah, I want to show you something I just picked up today. I'm a big Funko guy. As you could tell.
Right.
I just picked this up today. Hold on, let me see if I can get it in there. There it is. A signed Liv Morgan pop.
Oh man. Okay.
I couldn't find one anywhere, and WWE Shop put them up. I'm like, dude, I snatched it like right away.
Now, have you got the Nightmare Cody Rhodes one yet?
Yes, I have both of them.
Okay.
Actually, I have three of them because they did a New Japan one.
Right.
They did the one where he just came back. It was like a Walmart exclusive, and he had the jacket he always wears.
Right.
And now they released the one where he's got the bruise on and he's holding like a sledge.
Right. Well, see the Walmart exclusive, the one that come out with the jacket.
And I have that one signed.
I need to get mine signed. But it was funny because I was just walking around Walmart and I seen them. And when I seen them, they were I can't remember, like they were $6. Like they had just come off the truck onto the shelf. Nobody had really checked. Nobody had really priced them yet. And I snatched them up for $6 a piece. And I think I got 8 of them. I was like,
I had a bunch of them too.
It's one of those deals. Like, I'm sorry, Walmart messed up, and if
they went like this,
right? But if anybody works for Walmart and you're mad about it, like, I'm sorry, but
hold on a sec. Herb's got a question for you. Did you ever work for Burt Prentice?
No. I had the luxury of meeting Burt several times. Right when he started USA Wrestling up again and was running out of the Omen. Me and my tag partner had been in talks, but never worked out. And then the next time anybody had mentioned working for USA and any talks had started, he had already passed away. But very nice man, really, man, great knowledge of the wrestling business. Yeah, he was somebody I wanted to work for. Mainly, my base of operation is Memphis or the Tennessee area, which, now it's not. I don't consider myself just a Tennessee wrestler anymore. I'm trying to branch out and get as far, north, east, west, even some more like, southern states. Like I'm trying to expand.
But same boat.
he was running USA Wrestling, and they had a TV deal right about the time. Well, a little bit before Memphis Wrestling had started, and I started working for them. And then now I've transitioned from Memphis Wrestling to Bluff City Wrestling, and it's based out of Memphis. So now Memphis has 2 wrestling promotions. Right.
The Bluff City Rumble coming up.
Right, yeah, man. It's crazy because I won the guy in the middle with the cowboy hat, Bullet Ballard. I beat him for the Southern Heavyweight title, and
I know him.
And I'd had like 2 matches after that, 2 TV matches, and then I suffered the broken rib, and so now I'm just trying to get my feet underneath me, get back moving and going good again, and getting more reps. to hopefully get back there. And he just lost it to Chris Lex. Man, I think that would have aired last week. So he just lost it last week to Chris Lex. So now it's bigger and better. Like, let's go for the Bluff City Heavyweight title.
Awesome. And let's remind everybody that event is actually free for everybody.
Yeah, man. Like,
wow. You can't get better than that.
No, and it's at a great place, the LR Jackson Boys and Girls Club in West Memphis, Arkansas. Like, man, the kids, and that's one thing I talk about. I was that, 3-year-old kid sitting on my grandpa's lap watching Channel 5 Memphis Wrestling with Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, Austin Idol, Tommy Rich, the list goes on of names. And then as I got older, I still was a wrestling fan, and I watched Power Pro, which is what Channel 5 had become. My first tape that I ever got, I ever tape traded with anybody. My first tape I ever got, and I laugh about it today, but it was the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth wedding.
I remember that.
So yeah, that was the.
Steve's taking on Luke Gotti this Saturday for the AIWF title.
There you go. But yeah, that was the first tape I ever got, and like after that, like that's when I transitioned to WWF and then WCW, and really got to watch wrestling on the, the grand stage, the national level, and man, like I just remember being a kid and loving the business. So now that I'm fortunate enough to be in the business, like I remember what it's like being that kid. So every time I go out there, it's, there's still that kid in me that's like, look, I know what it's like to sit there and watch watch somebody wrestle who you want to cheer for, or you want to boo. And so I go out there and I just give it, everything I have. Like, I don't want people to come and, they've never seen me wrestle and then just, I don't want to half-ass it. Yeah, I'm not that type of person. So, and then when I got it, like I said, when I got into the business, started learning how the business really worked. Becky off. That's my Aunt Becky, by the way. Nobody.
Is it really?
She's not really. She's family. I call her my Aunt Becky. My sister is married to her nephew, so we just call her Aunt Becky. But yeah.
Herb says, "Did you enjoy the Mouth of the South?"
Oh, Jimmy Hart! I love Jimmy Hart. I may be one of the only people that, as a wrestling fan, I loved Jimmy Hart. Yeah, I wanted to see
Jimmy Hart.
I mean, I wanted to see him get his butt kicked. I wanted to see him get hurt all the time. But I love it. And then going back and watching the Lawler Andy Kaufman feud, and then when you put Jimmy Hart in there with Lawler and Andy Kaufman, it just shows how good Jimmy Hart is. The match where neither one really wanted to touch Lawler, to me, like, I'm not a comedy wrestler. Some comedy stuff, I like and I laugh about it when it comes to wrestling. But that stuff is just comedy gold. Like, just love watching things that Jimmy Hart did. And especially when Lawler really broke his leg playing football or softball or something when he, was the champion out of Memphis.
He still got it at 81. Wow. Jimmy's 81?
Yes. Like, and here's the crazy thing. Like, I've been on.
He does not look 81.
Oh, absolutely not. But
no way.
Funny story. We have been. I've been in the business, man, 3-4 years maybe, and we did a big Legend show, which was kind of the Memphis Legend show in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And the main event was Jeff Jarrett versus Jerry Lawler, and Jimmy Hart was there. Brian Christopher, the late Brian Christopher, which is Jerry's son, they were there. He was there, but Jimmy and Brian were down there at the end of this, what we call the Earl Bell Center, which is it's an old gymnasium that Memphis used to run, back in the territory days. And so there, down at the end, is Jimmy Hart shooting a basketball. And me, I grew up playing basketball. I'm, come from a big, basketball town in Arkansas, and I'm legit watching, a guy that I grew up watching, in wrestling down there doing something else I love. And I got to say this, I don't know too many young guys that I think could have handled Jimmy Hart in basketball.
Really?
Like everything he was shooting, he was knocking down. I'm like, yeah, I'm not, I just hurt my knee. So I'm not going to go down there and get embarrassed by Jimmy Hart. Like I might have to go to blows with him if he beat me 1-on-1.
Herb says he still helps with the ring and setting up chairs. That is amazing and
Yes.
awesome.
And the good thing about Jimmy Hart, because like I said, I've been on several shows now with him. Ricky Morton is the same way. You can sit there and you can pick their brains for hours. Like, the guys that have been there and that have done that, some of them, and I'm not naming names, but some of them, they don't want to give you the time of day. Jimmy Hart is a guy that'll come in, set up chairs, set up the ring, but will sit and talk to you about the business and about things he's seen that you did. And Ricky Morton's the same thing, same way. Like, me and Ricky sat at WLW, and I know for at least 45 minutes before his match, I'd already worked my match, and so me and him just kind of back and forth, talked about things that I did in the match and how to get better. And to me, that's the definition of a true vet. Anybody that's willing to take the time out to help the next generation along. Yes, and the Gentry's man, yes. It's crazy. Like, man, Herb, like we got to talk at some point. You are,
I know. He is the fountain of knowledge, man.
Man.
I got to get the FanFest. I'm trying to get off. I'm trying to get, other people put it off at work, and I'm trying to, dude, I want to go to Missouri. Like, that's all I want to do.
Well, and that's funny because I'm trying to get up that way.
Herb, stop giving out your number on here, man.
Oh, did he get on his number? Yeah, don't do that.
I'm gonna delete that.
Herb's gonna have people blowing him up.
We'll send his number to J. We'll send your number to JPJ Private.
Yeah.
He's gonna have everybody calling him. Like, can you get me to talk to Jimmy Hart?
Right.
Now I want to bring this up because we do have some sad news. I mean, unfortunately, the other day, Mr. Virgil passed away.
Yes, man. Like,
our condolences to his family and all his friends.
So,
he's an open book. He says,
right. But no, on the Virgil thing, we were talking about prized possessions a little bit ago. I have a autograph signed picture by $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and so the other day when he passed, I just remember, you think about, you don't always think about the guys who were a part of wrestling when it was at its grandest or its biggest. Everybody talks about the Attitude Era. Well, if you go back to the Golden Age, or you go back to a little bit past the Territory era of the mid to late 80s with WWF, he was with $1 Million Man. Right. they were part of the Hogan and Andre.
Right.
That feud that they got intertwined with that. Well, then you fast forward to the Attitude Era, which is kind of where I grew up in as far as wrestling goes. He was part of NWO. And then you fast forward to after his career's over, and there was always the rumors out there. He was, I had heard rumors he was homeless. I'd heard rumors like nobody's, he goes to these WrestleCons and things, and and Comic Cons, and nobody comes to his table. I gotta say, I've actually been on one been at one where he was there, and to me, that was the falsest thing I've ever seen. Like he had a line, you know.
I've seen people at his tables up here when he was doing stuff up in the Northeast.
Right. And but I got to thinking about that though, about him. Was he a major player in certain aspects? No, he wasn't a main event guy, but when you look at
he created memories for people.
Right, he created memories, and if you look at the fact that, like, okay, when WWF went national and or global, before globally, but went national, he was a part of that. He was there with DiBiase. And then when you look at WCW and the NWO, which is, people consider, at least top three major wrestling that made wrestling, he was a part of that. Was this? I think sometimes people forget about the little guys, or not really the little guys, but the guys that, like Herb knows. He has, Herb has, Bob Orton. I know Bob works his shows, and Bob was a key player in the start of the Rock and Wrestling connection, the WrestleMania 1. Like, he was a huge player in that. Was he the main star in that with Roddy Piper or Hulk Hogan? No, he wasn't, but he was a major player.
He was 100%.
And he helped make that. It didn't matter if he was the main guy. Same way with, with Ted DiBiase and Virgil. He was there. Like, that was, he'd be the one when, and I can't even remember the little kid's name, that was dribbling the basketball. And right there, you got Virgil, thumbing through the money. And then all of a sudden, there's Ted DiBiase to kick the basketball. So, a lot of these guys, and especially somebody, I don't know, like Herb, who's a historian, like I can tell already, and me, who loves this business and loves everything about it. Like, you can't, I seen a couple posts on Facebook, and it was kind of like with Virgil, who cares? Well, if you're a true wrestling fan, you care.
You care, 100%.
And
I got a great Virgil story.
Okay.
So, like, besides seeing him at a convention or whatever, 8 months ago, I look into my DMs and Instagram, and I'm like, is this who I think it is? And it was Virgil. He was messaging me.
Really?
He's like, hey, brother, I got this game out. If you want to purchase it, I said, hell yeah, I'll purchase that game. I'm like, Virgil messaged me. And I turned back into a little kid watching him on TV, like being with Ted DiBiase.
But
it was a great moment for me. Like he messaged me. He didn't have to message me.
Right.
But he did.
And that's that's the crazy thing when you get to meet people that you watch growing up, and I don't like throwing my age out there. I'm not as old as I look, and I'm probably nowhere near as old as I feel half the time. But I was late 80s, so I got to catch the Hogan era. I was early 90s catching Shawn and Brett on their way up. Then the Attitude Era with Austin, Rock, Foley, Triple H, all them, and WCW with Goldberg, NWO, all that stuff. I was so lucky to catch all that. But then I'm still young enough to have caught even, which is funny because a famous guy that left WWE and is somewhere else now, and I'm not going to mention his name, but didn't know who Sin Bodhi was. And yeah, it was crazy because I did this show, and like I don't throw the names out there.
I just met him recently.
Oh my God. So I do the show, and it was a seminar, and I can name the guys that were doing the seminar that were running it: Sin Bodhi, Luke Gallows, and Alexander Koloff. They were all doing the seminar, and or Tyson Koloff. I can't remember which one is his real name and which one is his gimmick name. But I got to meet Sin Bodie, and he was amazing. Luke Gallows was amazing. Koloff was amazing. Even though, like, sometimes you meet somebody and you go, man, like, you look at a picture of them, they look like they're huge. Luke Gallows is every bit as big as he looks on TV, but
Wow.
Koloff, I towered over him, and I was like, man, I thought he'd be bigger. But no, I did that, and got to listen to Sin Bodie. I knew exactly who he was. Knew he was Kazarmi in WWE, and then here comes this dude that wasn't part of the show, but he gets on the show. He hadn't been out of WWE very long. Really didn't know there was independent wrestling anywhere around. Just thought, the WWE, AEW, that was it. But shows up at this show, and he's talking to Sin Bodie, and had no idea Sin Bodie had been in WWE. And that, I just remember I was still young in the business, but I was just like, man, that's so disrespectful. Like, you've been in the E, and so was Sin, but you have no idea who he is. And but that's what I'm saying. Like,
such a nice guy too.
Oh my god! And then I know. Have you seen the gender reveal video?
I didn't know.
Oh my god! Look up on YouTube. Gender reveal wrestling. Sin Bodie is part of that and plays. It's a guy dressed up in the blue singlet and boots and everything. Another guy dressed up in the pink, and they wrestle to show, and the winner is, what the baby is, and it is awesome. Like,
I gotta watch that.
Yes, and they hit each other with presents and put people through tables, hit each other with food. It is hysterical, but it was such a cool idea. And knowing that I know him, or I got to know him, I thought, man, that is so awesome. But like I was saying, like, I think anybody that takes the time out to help these younger guys up, I look at like a true vet.
Right.
And even like your Virgil story, really Virgil didn't know you.
No, I had no idea who I was.
But honestly, he could have caught the podcast and be like, oh, this is a wrestling guy. Good. So and that's the thing, like, you never know. And you never know what type of impact you make on either like another wrestler's lives or on a fan's life. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we talked about goals earlier. My goal is really simple. I just want to wrestle anywhere and everywhere. Yeah, the dream is to make it somewhere. Like, my biggest dream is to wrestle in Japan. I think it fits my style a little more. But I just want to wrestle anywhere and everywhere. Just want to go out and wrestle the best wrestlers in the world.
That's good.
And if that's right, but if that's giving me a contract, somewhere, great. Where I can do this as a career and a living, great. If it's not, hey, man, I can make money at a merch table, but I can impact lives the same way that the guys on TV are doing.
Right. And I think that's important to a lot of guys in the independent scene, is just making that impact on that fan. I mean, there was a wrestler up here who made an impact on my son's life when I took him to an indie show.
Okay.
And now he wants to be a wrestler, and he's working towards his goal to do that. He's 21 years old now. So
there you go.
You will make an impact on someone's life, and you don't even know it.
Right.
I mean, this particular wrestler knows, but I'm just saying, in general, you might not even know.
Right. And, I've already spoke so highly of WLW. But last weekend, and this is the second time I got to do this, I got to go to Fort Leonard Wood, where at Fort Leonard Wood, it is their, boot camp for their for the Army, and other, other branches are part of it too. But they don't have anything to do during boot camp. They don't get out.
Oh, the train's coming.
Yeah, the train, man. Like, I swear, like, I hate that train. But yeah, they don't get to get out. There's a bowling alley, and like, that's pretty much all there is to do. Well, then you bring in wrestling, and for one night out of their time at boot camp, they get to come enjoy this wrestling. Yeah, see, Serena agrees with me.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Maybe you just saw it somewhere and said, "Oh, I mean, let's see if this
Right.
guy's a wrestling fan."
But yeah,
I'm gonna throw some info your way, just so you know. On March 9th, coming up here in New Jersey, is the Titan Championship Wrestling Free for All, where you register if you're already a professional wrestler and you want to try out not only for Titan Championship Wrestling, but several companies. JPJ.
Okay.
I hope you'd be interested in that. Maybe we'll send you all the info.
Yeah, send me all the info. I got that opportunity in Pennsylvania, the same kind of deal. Like they had and I don't want to say it was a Can-Am tryout. It was really, it was a seminar ran by Bob Evans, Drew Onyx out of Canada, and he goes as Barbosa, and I hope I said that right, out of Canada. And they run, there's two different companies out of Canada, and I had the opportunity to impress in both the companies. What
Who's
did she
this
say?
guy?
Oh my God! Yeah,
You know
it's
that
somebody.
guy?
Yeah. He. I don't want to say he's irrelevant, but he's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yikes! All right, go ahead. She's gonna send you the updated info.
Okay, good.
Serena's the best.
She tries to keep me up with all the shows up north that are around y'all's area. And, man, like my time over the last year has really been dedicated to helping WLW or being a part of WLW and helping TIWF. And I've kind of, after I got injured and come back, I got that itch again. Like I want to, man, I'm ready to just get out there and get as far as I can get. Yeah, man, and like this thing, like I know a lot of guys. Like I had the resources to be able to travel. I'm not one of those that when I go somewhere, I'm going to go. Oh, I need $1,000 in a plane ticket. To me, I just love it. I love the opportunities, to wrestle somebody new, wrestle in front of a different crowd. Because sometimes, when you wrestle in front of the same crowd week after week, I don't want to say it gets boring, but they expect a certain match out of you. But when you get to go to a new crowd and a new place, you get to be a little more creative. You get to learn what works with that crowd and what doesn't. Get to learn how to trash talk crowds that sometimes you suck doesn't work with them. Like you got to come up with something. You got to come up with something original. Which down here, one of the most original things I've seen, and it was a kind of an old school move, but like you walk around the crowd and you're trying to get you a little bit of heat, and I watched this young kid, and it kind of took me back to some of the old territory days. But the kid walked up and stole somebody's nachos. Just yanked it out of their hand and started eating it. I'm not going to do that because I don't, people love me and I'm a good guy, but I don't want COVID from not anybody.
I hear you.
but I applaud the kid for doing that. I mean, he just yanked it. I mean, I don't know if somebody tried to meet him out in the parking lot to get their $1.50 back, but might have.
Right. All right, JPJ, thank you for coming on the podcast, and we probably could talk like another hour straight, me and you.
Yeah, and if Herb would get back on, like we could talk.
We could be here all night talking, me, you and Herb.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it to FanFest, Herb. I really am. Like, I'm gonna have a serious talk and see if I can make this event. FanFest coming up in May.
Tell me that doesn't look amazing. Oh my God!
Look who's there, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart's there. There's Bob Orton, who had the pleasure of beating the crap out of me last year. There's another Memphis guy who I'm really good friends with, downtown Bernal Brown, or was Harvey Wimpleman in WWF. He's a Memphis guy. Actually, the last the last two Bluff City TV tapings, he's refed both my matches. So, and then he tells me every time I see him now, he doesn't want to ref. He wants to make sure he has my matches. So,
look at this. This is a good call. Hold on, let me get rid of the graphic. Maybe we can get Herb to do an episode with us together.
Yeah, let's do that. I would love it. Like, please, let's get that. I want to try to stump him though. Like, I want to see if
okay.
Like, and I know he can stump me. So, like, Herb, don't think I'm like trying to throw shade, but like, I love wrestling knowledge. I love talking to people who just have an abundance of it. And then there's that one question where you see them kind of go, and like that's me. Like, I want somebody to ask me a question I don't know, because if I don't know it, that means I get to learn about it, and I get to learn new stuff.
Yeah, me too. I like to learn new stuff too. Make sure everybody checks out SICW on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, and watch out for the Papa Dank commercial running on SCW shows. Just saying. All right, JPJ, last thoughts, and tell everybody where they can follow you.
Man, you can follow me. First, I'll go with the follow. You can follow me at Jack Parker Jr. on Facebook. Instagram is like JPJ _ something. I would follow up with what I did last year and say my OnlyFans is, but I don't have OnlyFans.
John Cena does.
Right. I mean,
as a matter of fact, they kicked him off X because they didn't think he had one.
Now, if you want to like cash at me, like, I mean,
Cash App us both.
Like, I'll send foot pics, but that's all you're getting. I mean, if you like big burly guys with Hulk feet, I got you all day. But
I need toll money to travel. We'll work for toll money.
Right. Yeah, I'll work for my travel. Like, don't worry. Like, hotel and gas money. Like, I'm good. Like, let's do it.
Oh man.
But no, like, my last thoughts is, if you're watching this, I mean, I appreciate you watching this, and Papa Dank's doing a great job. This is my second time on. I love it. But my last thought is, if you are a fan of wrestling, doesn't have to be, doesn't just have to be WWE, doesn't have to be NWA, doesn't have to be AEW. If you're just a fan of wrestling and you want something to do that is family oriented, I promise you that each state has.
We got a seal of approval from her.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But each state and somewhere close to you, I promise you, there's some local show that's running at a fire department. They're running at a local community center. They're running at a building that they own. Go. And if you got kids, it is the best way to get your kids off the street, not to be getting in any trouble. They go, they get rowdy for 2 hours. They cheer their favorite guy. They boo the guy they hate the most. And then they go home. But you don't have to worry, that they're out running the streets doing, things that you're as a parent, you're scared of. Right. But yeah, I love wrestling. I love all types of wrestling. I love what we do on the independent. I love what they're doing in the bigs. But man, like, there's so much room for people to go to shows outside of just the WWE or the major companies. Like, so many people. I see
great talent.
Yeah, I see it a lot. There's always the people on Facebook that are talking about what WWE's doing wrong, and then they're like, "Well, I wish." Yeah, right. Escape from reality. Right. But they're looking on. They look at WWE and they're griping about what WWE's doing, griping about what AEW's doing, and then you'll always see down the line on them comments, you'll see somebody. I wish I had something that close to me that wasn't major, wasn't like WWE where I got to pay. $25 and up for a ticket. Well, most, like we talked earlier, TIWF $6 a ticket. I mean, you can't beat that. You're going to get laughs. You're going to get a lot of action. Bluff City, same thing. It's free. It's a TV taping. Come, you can't beat it. Some of the best wrestlers in the Mid-South, some of the best wrestlers, around are coming to that show. We had Michael Elgin there 2 TV tapings ago. Come in, you can't beat that. and that's all we're looking for. We just want as many people to come watch the product. As many. I mean, I look, if doing this podcast tomorrow, I gain 5 more followers on Instagram or. Oh my God! Like why are kids coming after me right now? Another one right there. Code Brian, young up and comer, young kid, but is gonna be phenomenal. Like so, David Madding, can't stand him. He's arrogant. I'm just kidding. David's he's good at his job. He's a big boy.
Says you suck.
Yeah, he said I suck, but I'm gonna plug him for a second. He's a big guy. Doesn't necessarily work like he's just a humongous guy. He can move. Good young talent. And that's the thing. Like we want to funnel as many people in the doors to see all this new young talent. And so if tomorrow, because of the podcast, I got 5 more followers. Hey, awesome. And then next time I do the podcast, and if we do it with Herb, maybe
you got to follow JPJ now, and Herb, you got to do this episode with us, right? So we can all escape from reality.
Right. Yes. Have trivia night.
Look at that. That's why I have Cowboy Bob Orton training the future of our business.
Right, man, and can you beat that? Can you beat, whether it's Ricky Morton training the new up and coming guys, whether it's still Tom Pritchard, at Tom Pritchard School, whether it's Bob Orton, you can't beat that. You've got guys who've made it in the business, and I'm not. I know a lot of people knock, and this is the last thing I'll say. I know a lot of people knock on going to seminars. A lot of the vets they'll be like, "Oh, it's just."
I went to a seminar.
Right,
Gabe Saplowski.
Oh my God, Gabe is amazing.
Amazing experience.
But yeah, I've been to a few where they've been money grabs. I didn't learn a lot. But if you want to better your wrestling career, and you want to get the connections. Haku. See, look, Haku, like man, like just look at that, and like I'm going to tell you right now, like I don't know Herb very well, but Herb, like I love you and I respect you, and I think you're doing a tremendous job. I keep up with the SICW, and and I got buddies that are working for you, and I think you're doing a tremendous job, sir.
100% agree.
And I'm glad that we've got to have this interaction tonight, and I look forward to having more interactions with you. But yeah, right, man. Like that's crazy. Like, cause like I said, I got to meet him last year.
I love when he talks about the business, and you're like in awe of all this information he has.
Right? But it's crazy because I got to meet him last year, just one show at WLW at Fort Leonard Wood, and Bob Orton beat the crap out of me, and yeah, but I got to meet him, and I think I've had a conversation with him once after that, just through Messenger about maybe try to come into SSCW. But man, like I just being able to sit here, talk to guys that are like me, that love wrestling, that are fans of wrestling first, and then a part of the wrestling business, man, you can't beat that. The only thing that'd be better than that if I drank would be a cold beer.
Me, you, and her with a cold beer.
Right.
And Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart. Oh my God, yeah. Let's try to get Jimmy on too. Like that.
Can you imagine? Oh man, the 4 of us together. We'd be like,
oh my God. Oh, here, like last thing. So, before I knock my camera over, but
we're getting so excited.
I'm going to say something. Maybe Herb doesn't know this about Jimmy Hart. Maybe he does. So Jimmy come to work for a promotion down the road. Jimmy don't drink. But
he can have iced tea.
Right. But he come to work for a promotion here in Arkansas called RWE, a promotion that I helped book and was heavyweight champion for a little while at before I helped book. But we had a fan fest deal, not as big as what Herb does, but we brought Jimmy Hart in. Jimmy Hart is I'm a collector of wrestling stuff, as you are, and I know Herb probably is too. And Like we're collectors of wrestling stuff, and I know Jimmy does too. But Jimmy Hart loves Poncho's cheese dip. But he loves
Pancho's cheese dip.
Poncho's cheese dip. So in West Memphis, Arkansas, there is one of the last Poncho's restaurants still there. And the owner and promoter of RWE took Jimmy to West Memphis to get Ponchos from Poncho's.
Wow.
And I got a chance to talk to Jimmy, and Jimmy said every time he's in this area, he has to go to Poncho's. So
he loves White Castles too.
Oh, see,
I love White Castle too.
Oh, I had White Castle 3 weeks ago, I think.
It's been a couple of months, but I'm due.
Yeah, I messed up and got like the big bag because I was like, "Oh, they're little, so I'll eat a bunch of them." I got like 4 of them, and I was done.
Really? Oh man, I just chow them down, man. Me and my son were just chowing down.
Well, I mean, I came back and ate them later. I was just, I just got to wrestling and kind of tired, so I scarfed 4 down and the whole bag of fries, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'll eat some more later." Got like 2 hours down the road, got about 3 or 4 more, ate them again, and
Yes. There's someone who has a question, but he's telling me to please show it. All right, I'm gonna put it up. Hey JPJ, question for you. I have seen and followed you from show to show, and I was wondering, how do you keep your character the same at each show and with different opponents?
Man, it's funny because it's not a character. This is who I am. If it's, I don't always like talking about, heel or face or whatever, but if I'm a face, I'm just a big, strong guy, but I'm also a guy that likes to dance, likes to be funny, likes to have a good time, and and I let that part of my personality show. If I'm, if I'm a heel, I'm nasty, but I still try to talk to the crowd because I want them to interact. That's the part of what we do the best, is getting the crowd to interact.
Wow, Jimmy is hosting FanFest. Medusa and him in the house. Wow.
Man, I think I'm gonna have to go to FanFest.
Yikes. Herb, you better come back with Jimmy Tucson here. With JPJ, of course.
Right.
It's a tough sell. I get it, Herb. It's a tough sell for you. All right. As for me, make sure you follow all things Papa Dank, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to be back tomorrow night. I have the one and only Maddie, the American Baddie, coming on. And we are going to talk wrestling, of course. And then I have Double Trouble coming up for SWA March 8th. Make sure you use that QR code and get your tickets if you are in the Long Island area. Or even if you want to travel, come to Deer Park and come watch Double Trouble. You're not going to want to miss this show. After that, actually the next day, I have Time Championship Wrestling's Free Pro. I will be in attendance for the tryouts. It's my first tryouts. I'm going to sit there and observe and take mental notes and have a great time. After that will be Time Championship Wrestling's first TV tapings, Danger Zone, coming up, and it is free for everyone. Followed up by that same day, Another Level, which is Saturday, March 9th. At the Danger Zone, the standouts for the tryouts will have matches for the tapings that night. And I'm trying to get the graphic. There it is. Another Level coming up as PJ Savage defends his championships against Jay Bougie. We have my good pal Tiffany Avatar, the Cotton Candy Princess, versus Marie Valdemoni. We got Joey Conway, the cause of it all, the Feral Face, Jay Outcast, Justin Bon Jovi, Daniel Alexander, Michael Fain, Jocko, all the stars of Time Championship Wrestling will be there live for Another Level. Make sure you get your tickets, use that QR code, or go to TitanChampionshipWrestling.com. After that, I have the big event coming up. Let me bring that up real quick. There it is. Papa Dank is coming to the big event, and he is not coming alone. I am coming with PJ Savage and the Cotton Candy Princess herself, Tiffany Avatar, alongside Ryan Peterson, aka Sexy Ryan, who is the voice of Wrestle Pro, Creator Pro, Invictus, MMA, kickboxing, you name it. Ryan's done it. He is top-notch ring announcer up here. And we're all going to be hanging out at big event. And after big event, just scoot on over to Bayshore because it is BPW's Before the Storm. Make sure you go to victoryprowrestling.com to get your tickets for Before the Storm. Let's go. Whew, that was a mouthful, JPJ.
That was.
Don't want to forget my friends over at Wrestling Is Now as they present Winner Circle on 420. You know what 420 is, so I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, look, Herb says come be in the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal. There you go. JPJ has been invited. Another connection made here on Beyond the Barricade with Papa Dank. Please stop calling Ryan Sexy Ryan. The crowd chants Sexy Ryan. Sexy Ryan. It's not my thing. It's the crowd. What can I say? All right, everybody. Everybody on Instagram land, thank you for joining us. And have a great night there. Everybody else, have a great night. JPJ, just stay on for a moment. Herb, I'm trying to get the fan fest, Herb. I'm trying.